ورتل قرآنك جوده وتدبر فيه ووقره فثواب الحرف به عشرا وبه الرحمن جزى أجرا.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We're starting, inshallah, with lesson 1, fundamentals of Tajweed. Inshallah, this is part 1 from 10 parts or 10 lessons of the course, inshallah. First thing about me, I'm going to go forward in the slides for maybe more than or around 40 minutes. So inshallah, if you dropped any information, if I stepped on anything that's not clear, please stop me and ask a question or send to our brother, and he can inshallah introduce the question to me. So it's okay, I'm okay with interruption in between the slides. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We're starting today, inshallah, with an introduction to Tajweed and some of the stopping rules and some signs in the book that are fundamental, inshallah. Yeah, so first with the outline, we start with the introduction. What's Tajweed and why are we learning Tajweed, and some considerations about the course. We are going to move, inshallah, to the signs in the Quran. We have some signs that are basic. Anyone that reads Arabic needs to recognize these signs. And then we're going to how can we stop while reading, and what are the stopping signs, and something called nice or minor stop. If you please mute yourself, it will be appreciated. So we start with what is Tajweed? So Tajweed basically in the Arabic language means intonation in English, which means reciting something by singing it, or the way your pitch of your voice goes up and down as you talk. And it's also very close to another word in Arabic, means tahsin, which means improving or improvement. So Tajweed is a known word for the science of how to perfectly recite the Quran. And it's actually based on some simple rules. And if you practice these rules, you will be able to recite the Quran the way it's ought to be recited. And inshallah, we're going to go through that and introduce these rules and try to make them as easy as possible for everyone. Another note, I have the number of the slide here, so if anyone have a question on the previous slide, he can tell me the number of the slide so that he can ask the question in a good way. Why is Tajweed? Why are we learning Tajweed? Why are we trying to make our recitation in the best way? I need to introduce some reasons. This is like a tip from the mountain, as they say. A lot of other saying hadith from Prophet Muhammad and in the Quran, encouraging people to recite the Quran in the perfect way. The first one is in Surah Al-Muzammil, and Allah said, وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا, which means recite the Quran with measured recitation, recite the Quran as it ought to be recited. And there is another hadith from Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, the best amongst you is the one who learns the Quran and teaches it. This is very big motivation for people to learn, try to learn the Quran. Learning the Quran can be learning how to read it, learning what it means, and anything that comes out of the Quran, like to learn, it will be included in this hadith. Another hadith from Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, the one who is proficient in the reciting of the Quran will be with the honorable and obedient scribes. And who recite the Quran and find it difficult to recite, who who has problems and trying to recite and find it very difficult and trying, doing his best to recite in the best way possible will have two rewards. And this is the good thing. There is no backside to it. So even if you are professional doing perfect, you will be with the honorable. If you trying to practice, trying to do, and it's very difficult on you, you will have two rewards, inshallah. And the last one, the one who was devoted to the Quran will be told of the day of the resurrection, recite and ascend, like go in ranks as you used to recite when you were in the world. Your rank will be at the last ayah you recite. So your rank will stop as the last ayah you are used to recite in dunya. This is the motivation to try to recite and learn how to recite. Some considerations, inshallah, about the course. This will not be included in every lesson. I'll just say it in the first, and it's important to know. So we are going to learn riwayah called Hafs an Asim. This is the most common riwayah to recite the Quran. This is what is followed in Mecca and Medina Munawwara Mosque. Another riwayah which is also a little bit common in the west of like the Middle East, Morocco, Algeria, I think they are using Warsh, عن نافع, not Hafs عن عاصم. So maybe if you are from this part of the world, you'll find some differences, but the riwayah we're going to recite and learn is called Hafs عن عاصم. Arabic reading is a must here. You have to know that shape of the letters and how to read. Not perfectly, but at least you can read an Arabic text. And this is very important to continue with the course. If you don't, then you need to know how to read Arabic first and then to be introduced to Tajweed, inshallah. Another consideration is the naming of the rules. So the naming of the rules in English are my translation, like understandable as much as I can. So they are not common. Maybe you're watching another one or having another reference. Maybe you'll have another name for the rules. But the original Arabic names are scientific names. So inshallah, I'm going to manage and to always mention the scientific terms in Arabic. So if you are confused in the English translation of between me and someone else, you can always refer to the Arabic translation or the Arabic term, scientific term, inshallah. Tajweed is not hard and is not something impossible to do. It's like anything else in life. It's needs practice and needs to know the rules correctly and then practice. And inshallah, with a huge reward, inshallah, the road will be much easier. Surah Al-Qamar, this is something just to cheer you up. Allah said in Surah Al-Qamar, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. And we have certainly made the Quran easy for remembrance. So is there anyone who will remember? So it's just a motivation for us to try to remember, try to recite, try to learn the Quran. We start, inshallah, with the first slide in this lesson, signs in the Quran. So Quran, any sign when you read the Quran, it has a meaning. And it's not there just for like good shape or making like the penmanship good. No, any sign in the Quran has a meaning. And inshallah, today we are going to break some of the main signs and basic signs in the Quran so that you know what does this sign mean, why it is there in the Quran while reading, inshallah. So the main movements in the Quran, the main movements in the Arabic language is these three: Fatha, Dhamma, Kasra. Please remember these three words in Arabic. Fatha means I pronounce like that. This is the ba, I pronounce ba. Dhamma, I pronounce boo. Kasra, I pronounce it b, right? This is the main movement, and I will say this letter is a moving letter. Is a moving letter because it has one of the movements on or under it. Shadda means the letter has two letters. I think this is also basic. I'll come to the example later. Sukun or stability, I will call it a stable letter. And it can be one of two cases, right? The first one has this ha on it, small ha on the letter, which means you have to pronounce this letter. The other type of stable, I will call them stable letter. The sukun letter, I will call them stable letter. It has to be completely empty, nothing on it, nothing under it. It's also a stable letter, and we will discuss this later, inshallah. Uh, here come the example. So here, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. This is very common, I think. We say قُ because there is dhamma, and then we say قُل because there is sukun here. So this is a stable letter. أعوذ برب الناس. Here is ba, kasra and shadda. So I say بربي, بربي. This is only kasra, so I say b, بربي. Here two ba. Yeah. This is different. This ha on the lam or on any like this the sukun or the stability sign. This is different from like regular writing in Arabic. Regular writing in Arabic, you use sukun as a small circle. This is not the case in the Quran. So the small ha here mean this is a stable letter. Another basic sign is tanween sign. So you know tanween, tan, tun, tin. Yeah, you know this. And there is three ways of typing the tanween in the Quran. Three ways of typing the same thing, tanween. So it can be written like this, two waw, like this, or like two lines like this, far from each other, two lines far from each other. Or it can be written like this, or like this. So I do not want to confuse you. So just go to an example. So here, waylun. So here, this is tanween. And in other case, it will also be waylun, but it will be with this sign. Like here, waylun likulli humazatin, lumazatin. What happened here, this is also tanween kasra. This is tanween kasra, but it's written differently. The tanween is written differently. Both are tanween. This is what I'm trying to say. So this is three types of writing the tanween in the Quran. Also here, وَأَنْتَ حِلٌّ بِهَذَا الْبَلَدِ. حِلٌّ. This is tanween, but it's written this way. Why? We will discuss later. We will discuss later why. It depends on the letter after. But these are three types of writing the tanween. We will come to that later, inshallah. Just know the shape of the tanween at this stage. That's enough.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Tariq has a question.
Sure.
Regarding the last slide.
Sure.
He said, so shadda is the bundle word for the fatha, dhamma, and kasra. That is his question.
Not bundle, not qalqala. Qalqala, I don't know what bundle means actually, but shadda means that you have two letters from the same letter. Shadda means you have two letters, like here. I don't say anas, I say annas. Yeah. So
Yes,
shadda the
you got
bundle.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Barakallahu feek.
Yeah. So we will come to the bundle or the qalqala after. This is another lesson. But for now, just know the shadda means that you have two, like here, kullin. Kullin. Sorry, kulli. Wailun li kulli. Kulli. I made two lam here. I did not say likuli. If it's one lam, I will say likuli. But because of shadda, I made two lam. Likulli. Yeah. Go forward, inshallah. Next slide is also about basics. Come on. So yeah, next one is the circle shape. So some letters you will find a circle shape on the letter. That means that the letter is completely silent. If you find this circle on any letter, that means that you do not pronounce it completely. This is a silent letter. and you don't pronounce it stopping or continuing. So some other rules change when you stop or you continue, but in this case, you don't pronounce. Like here, يتلو صحفا. يتلو صحفا. So what I did is I went from wow to sod. I did not say that. I did not say يتلوا صحفا. Why? Because this alif has a circle on it. Yeah. Same thing with أولئك. I went from alif ضمة u to lam. أولئك. Yeah. Next example. بنيناها بأيد. Not بأيد. One yeah. This is one yeah. The other one is silent, right? So بنيناها بأيد. From this yeah to this dal. I do not pronounce this yeah because there is a circle on it. Yeah. So this also very important because it happens a lot. If you find a circle, a complete like this circle shape on any letter, that means it's a silent letter. Uh, someone saying something? I don't hear. Yeah. So the other one is elliptic shape. Like this circle, there is also elliptic shape. So the elliptic shape is a little bit different. So if you find this elliptic shape in your reading, that means that you don't pronounce this letter when you go from the previous to the next. So if you are continuing the reading, you will not say the letter. But if you are stopping at that letter, you will say it. And you will always find this at the end of the word. You will always find this elliptic shape at the end of the word. So you can stop at the end of the word. If you stop, you will pronounce the letter. If you did not stop, you will not pronounce. It will be a silent letter in this case. And we call it the 7 alifs, al-alifat al-sab'a. Why 7? Because there are 7 words in the Quran that have this. We have here, we have 6, and we will have the 7th, inshallah, in a minute. Just trying to read here. An example. قال أنا خير منه. قال أنا خير منه. What I did here, I went from noon فتحة to خاء. أنا خير. I did not say أنا خير. No alif here. This is completely silent because I went forward. If I'm going to stop, I will say قال أنا. قال أنا. So if I am stopping here, I will say this alif. Same thing here. لكنه والله. لكنه والله. What did I do here? I said نون مشددة كن and then go to ها. لكنه والله. If I'm stopping, I will say لكن. I will pronounce this alif then if I'm stopping. Same thing. وأطعنا الرسول. I'm stopping, then I will pronounce. فأضلون السبيل وتظنون بالله الظنون. Here I will continue. سلاسل وأغلالا وسعيرا. What I did here, I continued. So I will not say this alif, right? I put reference here so that you can go forward and look for it if you want to look in the book. Here I did not put reference because these 5 words happen once in the Quran. This ana happens a lot. So this ana can be found a lot in the Quran and it all has this. But the word is the same, right? But these لكن الرسول السبيل الظنون سلاسل, they all happen once in the Quran and they have this elliptic shape. And you know now how to how to recite when you find this elliptic shape on the letter. The 7th word is in Surah Al-Insan and it is qawarira. Yeah. So what happens here, if I'm going to stop at this verse ayah, I will say من فضة وأكواب كانت قواريرا. If I'm going to continue, I will say قوارير من قوارير وأكواب كانت قوارير. Yeah, what I did here when I continued, I completely made this letter silent. Don't hesitate or don't like confuse between the elliptic and the circle. The circle here means this one is completely silent. Going forward or stopping, this will be silent. This is a circle, right? But here it is an elliptic shape. So here, if I'm going forward, I will not say it. If I'm stopping, I will say it. I hope it's clear. Someone has a question, please let me know. Last thing is this one. I made it a little bit bold because Salasila here has a da'ira, had a circle. This is a circle, right? It's not an elliptic shape, but this is one of the seven alifs. This one has two possibilities. So here you can also consider it as elliptic shape. This is the only one of them can be considered as elliptic shape, but it is da'ira. So we have two possibilities here. You can completely make it silent, or you can include it in this al-alifat al-sab' in this 7 alif and say it if you are stopping. This one only. The others, you have to follow the rule of the elliptic shape. Yeah, I hope it's clear. If someone has a question, please send me. Next is basic sign in the Quran is small letters. Small letters, you will find some letters written small letters after it or on the letters. So this is not made just for fun. This is actually having a meaning, and they should be pronounced. The small letters on the letters should be pronounced, but how can we do that? So let's go forward. If there is a small letter exactly above another letter, so a regular letter, and there is a small letter on it, you have to pronounce the one on the top. An example here, وَإِذِ اسْتَسْقَى. So what happened here? There is a ya at the end, and there is a alif above the ya, small one. What will I say? Will I say وَإِذِ اسْتَسْقِي or وَإِذِ اسْتَسْقَى? So if it's only ya, I will say اسْتَسْقِي. But there is a alif here. There is alif above. So I always pronounce the one on the top. Same thing with Musa. وَإِذِ اسْتَسْقَى مُوسَى. Yeah, another example. الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ. See, الصَّلَاةَ here, if there is no alif here, it will be الصَّلُوتَ because there is waw. Let's see. My Quran has no elliptic on the alif. It has a lam alif on it regarding slide 7. Oh, lam alif is a different thing, brother. Your Quran does not have it, maybe another copy. We need to look. Inshallah, we will look after. I let you share the screen and look into this because there is maybe there is a different copy of the Quran, but this one Turkish style may be different. We need to look into that. If you have like at the end of your book, you have some notes about the signs. What I am trying to like illustrate here is the one common that everyone like in the Middle East in reading the Quran, or you can find it online. So it is called Ar-Rasmul Uthmani. It's the Ottoman from Ottoman like writing. Yeah, we can look into that, inshallah. If you have a small, let's go forward. If you have a small letter above any letter, you will pronounce the one on the top, like as-salata. Also, the next example is here. Wallahu yaqbidu wa yabsutu. Seen. We will pronounce the seen, not the sad, because the seen on the top. Yeah. الذين يأكلون الربا. الربا. So here this alif have a circle, so this is silent letter. And then I will not say الربو. I will say الربا. Why? Because this waw has alif on it. Yeah. الذين يأكلون الربا لا يقومون. This one is a little bit different because it's seen it underneath the sad, so you always pronounce the one on the top. So here, the most popular or the most common is saying أم هم المسيطرون صاد المسيطرون. Yeah. So always pronounce the one on the top. Always pronounce the one on the top. Okay, this is the first case. So the first case is the small letter exactly above the any other letter. The second case is a small letter, but it's after another letter. It's not exactly above it, it's after it. So it will be pronounced separately, like it is another letter written. Like here, nunji. This noon, and this is a small noon here. So this is not exactly above this noon, so it will not replace it, but it will be another letter here. Nunji, nunji, two noon. Same thing if you starting Surah Al-Baqarah, Alif Lam Mim, ذلك الكتاب, الكتاب, not الكتاب. I did not say الكتاب. There is Alif here after Ta, so it will be Alif, الكتاب. Like there is an Alif here. Another example, Surah Quraysh, لإيلاف قريش, إيلافهم. This is Ya. This is the small Ya. إيلافهم. Like this one. So consider there is a ya here. So if you have a small letter and it's coming after another letter, you have to pronounce this letter as it was written. The final example, if you have a small letter after a word, so not after another letter in the same word, it's after the end of a word. Yeah. So it will only be pronounced if you are going to go forward and read the next word. Let's have an example here. Inna rabbahu kana bihi. So this is a small wow. So if I am stopping here, I will say inna rabbah. Inna rabbah. I will stop here. We'll come to that later. But if I'm going forward, I will have wow here. So I will not say inna rabbahu kana. I will say inna rabbahu kana. This wow here. Rabbahu kana. Bihi basira. Bihi, there is ya here. Let's
There was
see.
a question about
What are the three dots in 2:2? Surah Al-Baqarah. We will come to that, inshallah, in 6 or 7 minutes, inshallah. Next example. لسعيه. If I'm stopping, I will say لسعيه. I will stop here. But if I'm continuing, I will not say لسعيه. لسعيه و. I will say لسعيه و. Inna lahu katibun. This is wow here. Lahu. See this oo? This is because there is wow here. So the small letters can have three cases. Exactly above or under any other letter. Then you will always pronounce the one on the top. Oh, you mean here. Oh, this one we will come to it later, inshallah. It can come after a letter, then you will pronounce it as a separate letter. It can come after a word, and then you can say it if you are going forward, and you will not say it if you are stopping at the word previous. Before we go into the stopping signs, which is actually the main part of our lecture today, inshallah, we will say how to stop. If you are not Arabic, if you are not speaking Arabic, it will be a little hard for you to, when you stop at end of any word, what do I say? If there is tanween, what do I do? If there is fatha, what do I do? If there is kasra, what do I do? So let's go over some of the cases, and inshallah it will be helpful. If you know this information, please bear with me, because some of other people may not know. So if the last letter of the word has one of the main movement, fatha, kasra, or dhamma, the main movement, you replace this movement with sukoon. So if I'm going to stop here, I will say لعلكم تفلحون. I will not say تفلحون. I will completely remove this one and replace it with a sukoon. تفلحون. يا أولي الأبصار. I will not say al-absari. Here, because I'm stopping, I will remove this one and replace it with sukoon. Al-absar. وهو العزيز الحكيم. I will not say al-hakimu. I will say al-hakim. I replaced it with a sukoon. If I'm going to stop here, I will say وهو العزيز. Going forward, I will say وهو العزيز الحكيم. Yeah, I think this is clear. The next case, if the last letter of the word has tanween on it or under it, then we have two cases. If it's tanween kasrah or dhamma, like here, ناصح أمين. ناصح أمين. So what would I do? I will completely ignore the tanween here. I will do sukoon instead of tanween. If it's tanween kasrah, like here, تضليل, I will not say تضليل or تضليلي or whatever. I will say تضليل. I will do with stable letter. Same thing here. لكم ناصح. If I'm stopping, I will say لكم ناصح. If I'm going forward, I will say لكم ناصح أمين. Yeah. This is if we have tanween kasrah or dhamma. The only exception here will be tanween fatha. Then I will not replace it with sukoon. I will replace it with the alif. So example, في دين الله أفواجا. So this is tanween fatha. I will say أفواجا. I will not say أفواج or أفواجا. I will say أفواجا if I'm stopping. Same thing here. This is the tanween fatha on this نداء. If I'm stopping, I will say نادى ربه نداء. نداء. What did I do? I completely ignored the tanween, but I put alif instead of the tanween. This is the only exception in the tanween. If it's tanween kasrah or dhamma, I will do complete sukoon. ناصح أمين تضليل if I'm stopping. We have one final case, which is تاء مربوطة, like this. If the end of the word is تاء مربوطة. We say تاء مربوطة because it's not like regular تاء. It's like, what should I say? It's, yeah, circleized like that. So we say in Arabic تاء مربوطة. What do I do if I have this at the end of a word? I will change it to a ha. So I will not pronounce that ta part. I will come to an example, just not to confuse you guys. And if there is a tanween, I will completely ignore. The best example to pronounce this is go to Surah Al-Humaza. And I hope most of you guys memorize this one or hearing it a lot or praying because it's a small surah, like saying the prayers. Let's just go into it. We have here ta marbuta with tanween kasra. وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. I'm going to stop here. So I will say وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. لُمَزَةٍ. This is ha here. So I completely ignored the ta. I replaced it with a ha, and I did not say the tanween. The tanween is completely ignored. الذي جمع مالا وعدده. So this is ha already. So it has the rule of any letter that has tanween dhamma. Let's see. Is there anywhere where we can look up the reasons behind these rules? This is pure Arabic language, brother. So what I'm trying to say here, I'm trying to make it easier for the non-Arabic speaking. But if you read that in Arabic and you tell someone وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ and you stop here, he will say, okay, what's next? Because لُمَزَةٍ, if you pronounce the tanween here, that means there's something coming after it. So that's pure Arabic language. If I have some of the rules that are actually specific or not related to the Arabic language itself, I can tell you where to look. But this is pure Arabic language. I'm trying to make it easier for people not speaking Arabic. But if you are speaking Arabic, you will know this by heart. Let's go forward. So, number 4, al-hutamah. I'm stopping here. Al-hutamah. Al-hutamah. I did not say al-hutamat or al-hutamati. I will replace the ta here with ha. Al-hutamah. وما أدراك ما الحطمة.
I think Tariq asks a question.
Sure.
In the chat.
Another one?
In the chat.
Yeah, I think I replied this one.
It's already replied.
Yeah. Yeah. التي تطلع على الأفئدة. I will not say الأفئدة or الأفئدة. I will completely replace with ها. الأفئدة. إنها عليهم مؤصدة في عمد ممددة. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the lecture, this is one of the ways to write tanween. So this is supposed to be ممددة. So I completely ignored tanween. I changed the ta into ha. This is how to behave if you are going to stop. Now we are going to go, inshallah, to answer the question with our sister about the stopping signs. So why are we having stopping signs in the first place? Stopping signs because you need to stop in the proper place. You cannot stop at any place or after any word, because sometimes you give the wrong meaning. So if you do not understand Arabic or you understand Arabic, it's really recommended to follow the stopping signs in your book. And it sometimes changes from one copy to another, but what I'm going to illustrate now is the main one in the automatic typing of the Quran. And inshallah, you will benefit for it. This page is called Alamatul Waqf, and you can find it in any copy of the Quran. And it actually contains the stopping signs, and it has illustration for what do we do at each of these signs. So it's necessary to follow these signs as much as we can, inshallah. Let's just break them down quickly. So this sign, meme, the small meme like that, this means that you should stop at this place. At this word, you should stop. You should not go forward. You should stop. This is an end of a sentence. Then you should stop here. It's like a full stop in English, or like in punctuation. A full stop here. Meme means you should stop here. إنما يستجيب الذين يسمعون والموتى يبعثهم الله. I will not say إنما يستجيب الذين يسمعون والموتى. I cannot say that because it messes up the meaning. It means, let's just say the meaning in Arabic that says the people who respond to our message are the people who hear. Then full stop, and then the next word is, and the dead people, God bring them back to him. If you're going to go forward, it will be the people who respond to our message are the people who hear and the dead people, which does not make sense. So you have to stop here. This is full stop here. So meme, consider it as full stop. And please do not confuse this meme with the other meme that we showed before. It has to be written this way. Gym like that means you have 50-50 choice. You can go forward or you can stop. I will show you, inshallah, the example later. Inshallah, we have like 6 or 7 minutes, inshallah, to complete. Salah or sili or sila or whatever, it's like that. I will say salah in this course, inshallah. There is other people that pronounce it differently, but there is no tashkil here. There is no fatha, kasra, or dhamma, so you can say it whatever you want. This is salah, is coming from the infinitive Arabic language, sil, which means connect. So this means that you better continue. You better go forward. You better go to the next word. But it's not forbidden to stop. So you can stop, inshallah. So salah means better to go forward, but you also can stop. But it's better, please go forward. Qala is coming from the Arabic infinitive qul, which means say. Qala is saying it's better to stop here. Qala, better to stop, but if you are going to continue, it's not forbidden. So qala means better to stop. Salah means better to continue. The example have all these, as you can see, all these signs. I will read, inshallah, the best way. I will not go to the choices. I will read, inshallah, the best way that should be read. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولقد استهزئ برسل من قبلك فأمليت للذين كفروا. then I don't have enough breath and I don't have any sign. What should I do? The best way is to bring back some of the words. If you are near the beginning of the ayah, you should bring from the beginning of the ayah. If you are not like here, just bring back few words. Why? Because it's not, I am not saying it's not completely okay, but it's better not to stop at any point. So what I will do is I will go back few words. فأمليت للذين كفروا ثم أخذتهم فكيف كان عقاب. Let's see the question.
Tariq has a question.
Few words, is that exactly two words? Uh, Not exactly two words. If you understand Arabic, you will know where to go because there is a starting of the sentence that makes sense. If you do not understand Arabic, bring one word, bring two words, uh, because it will just say to the people who hear that you did not complete the sentence. This is the only goal. Yeah. So just bring back one word, two words, no problem. If you stopped at anywhere, there is no stopping sign. Let's go forward, inshallah. أفمن هو قائم على كل نفس بما كسبت. Here قَلَى. Better to stop. وجعلوا لله شركاء قل سموهم. Here 50-50. I can stop, I can go forward. أم تنبئونه بما لا يعلم في الأرض أم بظاهر من القول. قَلَى. Better to stop. بل زين للذين كفروا مكرهم وصدوا عن السبيل. قَلَى. Better to stop. ومن يضلل الله فما له من هاد. So basically, each one of them has the possible to stop or continue, but Salah means better to continue, Qala means better to stop. Here comes sign, which the sister asked, which is the three dots. So the three dots is actually coming in two words. So it will not come alone in one word. It need always be coming in two separate words. And these two separate words may have some words between them. So they are not must. This is not the must to find them like consecutive words. It can be like 3 or 4 words apart. And it means that if you stopped at the first one, you cannot stop at the second one. Any other possibility is okay, but only this possibility is not okay. Let's show by example. The most popular one in Surah Al-Baqarah, and I think there's 3 or 4 of them inside the Quran. Here I will say every possible way, correct way. The first one, ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. I stopped at the first one. I did not stop at the second one. The next one is also possible. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. This is also possible. The last one which is possible, ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. I go forward, I did not stop. These 3 cases are possible. The only case that is forbidden by this sign is saying ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. If I'm stopping at the first one, I cannot stop at the second one. This is what is actually meaning. The last one that I find in one of my books, one in the Quran that's coming from Egypt, it's not in the automatic like writing, and it's this sign. It's just an extra if you find it. And I'm sure in Tariq, if you have like a Turkish Quran, you will have some more. Yeah. You have to go back to this page at the end of your book to know what's actually these signs mean. So here, la in Arabic means no. So if you want to refuse something, you will say la, and it's basically means you cannot stop here. And it actually can be included in our main rule that you cannot stop anywhere unless you have a stopping sign. So this one can be included. But if you see this la, that means you can never stop here. Do not stop here. It will mess up the meaning completely. Yeah, this is not in all the copies. The last thing, let's see, we have one question. Sometimes it is at the end of the ayah. If it is at the end of the ayah, then do not stop. And I need to see this case because I did not see it before. If it's at the end of the ayah and it means do not stop in your book, go back to the stopping signs page in your book, you will find the meaning of every sign. So if this sign means do not stop, then do not stop at this. But I really doubt if it's at the end of the ayah. We need to look at it. Yeah,
Like you can join the practical
yeah.
part.
Inshallah, in the practical, you can share, brother, and I will share also, inshallah, the Quran. The last thing, inshallah, in today's lecture is called a nice stop. It's another sign of stop or a minor stop. And in Arabic, it's called as-sakta al-latifa. Maybe other people say pause, translated differently, but it's actually different than the stop that we have with qala or with meme, the regular stop that we stop. It's called a nice or minor stop. And it happens when we have a seen letter at end of a word. So if you remember in the lecture, we have seen above the sod. This is different. So if you have seen above sod in the middle of the word on a letter, that means that you need to pronounce this as we talked before. But if you have this seen at the end of a word, that means you need to stop. Make like a nice or a minor stop. That means that you need to stop, but you cannot take your breath. An example just to show you guys. Here, if I'm going to stop, I will say وَقِيلَ مَنْ رَاقٍ, but it's not right because we have this scene at the end. So I will say وَقِيلَ مَنْ رَاقٍ, وَقِيلَ مَنْ رَاقٍ. See, I stopped very little, just a nice pause, and I did not take breath. If I'm stopping completely, I will say وَقِيلَ مَنْ راق. This is a complete stop. I can take my breath there. Another example. كلا بل ران على قلوبهم. كلا بل ران على قلوبهم. سورة المطففين. Another example. قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا. I have a question. Is it fard to make the minor stop? I think some of them fard, some of them maybe, but I'm not sure. I need to look it back. But at the end of the book, it's saying this position need to do a minor stop. So I think even it's not fard, it's mustahab, but I need to look into it. I need to look into all the cases. Yeah, so I don't know that, brother. I just know that if you say seen, that you need to stop. سورة ياسين. قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا. Here we have قلا. So قلا means stop. So if I'm going to stop completely, I will stop here and I will take my breath. But if I'm going to continue, I cannot say من مرقدنا هذا. No, I need to make this nice stop. So I will say من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون. Nice stop here. And I think the final example is Surah Al-Kahf. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا قيما لينذر. I did not stop here and took my breath. I go forward, but small pause, a nice stop is called a sakta al-latifa. So this is all I have today. I hope if you have any question, please ask or send it by the chat. What I am trying to do, I know it's a lot of information. You have a 30 to 45 minutes homework that will only take maximum 45 minutes, inshallah. and I will go to the homework that I need you to do step by step. Follow these steps, and inshallah, you will make the homework in this time. So the first step is to go over the lecture, only the nice line slides that after the introduction. Go over them one more time. Try to remember the rule. Try to remember the signs and what they mean. If you know something from previous experience, that's okay. That's good. Second step is pick one page of the Quran. Pick one page that you like to read. You heard it before or you didn't hear it. I don't care. Any page, open your Quran, pick one page, but try to find one. Do not like pick the last page like Surah Al-Falaq and An-Nas. This is very small verses that does not have any spot stopping rules, does not have Salah or Qala. So pick one with big verses just to practice the stopping rules, and recite the page you have chosen. Record yourself while reciting or your phone. I don't care if you recite badly. I don't care if you recite slowly. I don't care if it takes you like 15, 20 minutes to recite one page. Just apply the rules that we had today as much as you can. If you don't have any previous experience, you don't have how to pronounce other things, you don't have how to perform this or that, no problem. Just pronounce and recite the basics that we illustrated today, and you're going to go over, inshallah. And then you are going to keep this page number, write down the page number, and keep the recording to yourself. Don't send them to anyone. Just keep the recording to yourself. And inshallah, we're going to implement more rules every day, every lesson. So every lesson, we're going to implement more rules. If you want to do more, if you want to recite more, that will be okay. But just minimum is one page. Do it, and inshallah every lesson we're going to go back to this page and try to implement more rules and try to understand more what are the signs mean. Yeah, so this is all I need for homework, and that was lesson one. Jazakumullahu khairan. We go to practice, inshallah.